What's up, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast, and welcome to 2025,
I
first
wonder if
episode of the
people are.
year.
I wonder if people are super sick of hearing that. It's so cliche,
I know, like
dude.
everyone was
I haven't
posting.
seen you. We haven't done this podcast since last year, man.
Dude, everyone was posting like, this year was so hard, like I learned so much, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like,
Yeah,
listen, I appreciate everyone. I know with the last 4 years have sucked, right? The last 4 years have been rough ever since COVID.
yeah,
Prices are increasing. Shit's wild in terms of like politics, all of that kind of stuff. Like the world is trash right now in a lot of aspects. We get it. And I'm sorry. But there's also a lot of good stuff going on too. So, like good music. There's been good music going on.
yeah. No, that's true. I think that. I guess if you were to look for like one positive out of all the crappy stuff, is that like when bad things are happening, good music usually comes out of it.
That's true. I mean, Silver Line, the last 4 years, music has been crazy. Coming out of COVID, music has been wild in
Yeah,
terms of like how good people are, production quality. We're getting a lot of throwback sounds. We're getting a lot of just like people develop like beatdown, getting more beatdowny and stuff like that. Like
yeah.
it's fun.
Revival of older sounds, like
Yes,
people coming back with like old MySpace type deathcore, metalcore,
dude.
emo core, or whatever. Like there's a big revival core, I think is what they call it. Like,
I'm super happy that you said deathcore first. I just got done listening to Girl Glass. I just got done listening to Six Shots in Dallas because I hadn't fully like checked them out. That is the 2008 deathcore, and
it is.
it's so fun. I love
It
it.
is. Yeah.
I know you're not a massive fan of it, but I love it.
But I can appreciate it for what it is. And we'll get into it because we haven't talked about that local show I went to yet.
Oh, yeah. Because we've
So
been doing interviews.
Yeah. So we'll get into that, but I don't know. We can just get into it now. I got nothing else. I got nothing else to talk about.
I mean, really, like this week, it's more or less, this is our version of how was 2024?
Yeah.
the stupid cliche, how was 2024? 2024 was fun for us in terms of the podcast, shows, a lot of things. Like it was fun. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I saw a lot of bands that like I never thought I would see, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of that is attributed to Furnace Fest, which I'm sure we'll bring up, but even here in Dallas, like there were a few bands that I saw that I just didn't think I was ever going to be able to see again or see ever. And so, yeah, I mean, this year is rough for me as I think anyone else, it sucks. Like you said, the last 4 years have just sucked for everyone. But I think that on the plus side, there's ways to get through it. And, for me and you, this music has been a good way to do it. So being able to focus on stuff that we like, I think has helped.
That for sure. And then I don't know if people caught it last week, but talking to Christian from Virtue, he's a personal trainer and stuff. That Max Effort podcast that he does, super solid. And it's just talking about some of this stuff. It's talking about the mental aspect of things and like keeping a positive mentality and being able to work through stuff like that. Like, I love podcasts for that kind of crap. Yeah. Like ours is dumb. We talk about music. We do stupid stuff. That kind of stuff is like beneficial. As silly as it may sound, like having someone else be in your ear and like, it's almost like those silly movies where like they put the headphones on. It's like, I am the man. I will be the man. Like it's that kind of stuff. Have someone amp you up and it's good stuff.
I do. I think it's important that, and I did want to ask you like what some of your New Year's resolutions are. Cause
I haven't had a New Year resolution since I was like 16, bro.
I mean, I tell myself that I'm going to do stuff, but like this year I actually did think about it because it was like, I think 2025 is going to be worse than 2024. It's the way we're trending, as you guys know from listening that I'm a man of math and science. And so we're in the last 4 years have been trending down. obviously 2025 is going to suck. My New Year's resolutions were focused around how I can make it not suck for me, just like ways that I can improve certain parts of my life to like get through it. So like some of my resolutions are like to get outside more. I don't think I spend enough time outside.
I know I don't.
Yeah, that's like one of my goals, especially because like I noticed like a month ago, whenever my kids' friends came over, they just ran upstairs and turned on the Nintendo,
Yeah.
and I got like legit bummed by it because we were also like stuck in a car one day, and my kids were like asking me all these stories about growing up, and we did like some dumb crap, right? People have heard
Oh,
on
of
this podcast
course.
some of the dumb crap we've done. And my son was like, "Oh, I hope to have stories like that too." And I'm like, "Yeah, I hope you do." So like we made a rule like no more Nintendo during the week. Your friends come over, you guys play outside like kids. Go
Yeah.
ride your bike off jumps, go whatever. So like I bought a skateboard. I'm gonna get back into skating. I'm gonna go get a bike. Like I'm just gonna be outside being a kid again too. That's one of my New
Do
Year's
it.
resolutions. So
I mean, like, I get what you're saying. I, if anyone's been listening, I'm having a baby in 5 days from this podcast kind of thing.
yeah,
Actually, when this podcast release, it'll be 2 days away. So,
yeah.
like,
Hopefully you might have already had it by the time this release. Who knows? You
there's
don't
a
know.
very likely chance that that's the case kind of thing. But because of that, like, there's no planning. There is like, can I wake up in the morning? Great, we're
Yeah.
good. So,
Nah,
but
seriously.
we'll see. I mean, like last year, it was big for me. One of the things I wanted to do last year was get back to shows, and I did a ton of shows. I was going to like a show a week there for a minute, if not more, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it was great. It was fun. There's already stuff lined up for the beginning of this year. I doubt I'm going to be able to go to much of it, at least for this first few months, kind of thing. But I'm hoping to slip out, even if I'm just seeing a band or something. Like Gabe Ochoa from Darasum said, he's like, I just want to go for one. Let me go see one,
Yeah.
like I think that that's going to be my plea with my wife coming forward. So it's going to
Yeah.
be like,
Good
just
luck,
let me
man.
get out for an hour. Like, I'll just be an hour. Three
Yeah.
hours later.
Good
But
luck. Good luck on that one with the newborn.
yeah,
But yeah, man.
but I
So
don't
I
know.
don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, there's more. I think like some of the resolution that I had for like the podcast, which is stupid, but like, yeah, go out to more shows, get more clips, be a little more engaged. I think on social media because people are funny. Like some of those memes that we've had go off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like have been
The
funny, and we
comments
need
and
we need to do
stuff,
a better
like,
job. Yeah, we need to do a better job interacting. So
I agree. Also, like, if anyone takes what memes we put out there as like serious, like things, like obviously you don't listen to the podcast, right?
yeah,
Like that getting ready to crowd kill at 30 kind of thing. There's people who are like, get a life and stuff. I was like, come on,
chill
man.
out, man.
Just relax. It's a stupid meme. Like,
I
I'm
know.
not doing that. So, but
Or
no,
are you?
it's, well, no, I'm not. So, but it's good. It's all in fun. It's all in jest. And it's been fun. It's been fun for the
Yeah.
last few months. So,
Yeah. No, it's cool. So yeah, we'll see what 2025 brings. 2024 was awesome on the pod, so we'll talk a little bit about it. But uh, what new music you been listening to, or what have you been listening to?
yeah, I mean, like I just said, I was listening to a lot of deathcore today. No Cure. I know again you're not a massive fan, but if you really listened to their last album, the I Hope I Die Here,
No.
you should. You
Okay.
should. I love No Cure in general, but the very first song, Hang Me from the Bible Belt, when there's just like the line in a song where you're just like, ooh, like, and it just catches you, and you're like,
Mhm.
that's mean.
Yeah.
Like, they have a line in the song where, what does he say? Uh, there is no struggle, no single feeble prayer. Just hold your breath and kick the effing chair. Like, I was like, oh, dude, that's like straight up suicide silence again. Pull the trigger,
Yeah.
bitch. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's those lines that just stick with you. I'm like, oh, there was the line from this album that stuck with me. And all the songs have that kind of stuff. And like, listen, it just gets a visceral reaction. Like, it's just mean. You know what
We're
I mean?
starting
Like,
we're starting 2025 off right. Trevor's already talking about his physical reactions to music.
Physical reactions, man. Like, it's just such a mean line. And I just love that kind of stuff. I don't know why. Like, I'm not like a mean person. I'm not like a usually angry person. But when it comes to angry music, I freaking love it. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm not like Gore. That's the thing. Like, I'm not like I want to cut off your head, mutilate your body and stuff like that. It's lines where it's just like, dude, that's just mean to
Yeah.
say. Like, that's the stuff that I freaking like. I love that stuff. And so like this album, I've been listening to a lot of No Cure and stuff again lately. I love No Cure, but it's been pretty heavy over the last week or two. I've been back into the
Yeah.
heavy feels. What about
That's
you?
cool. I don't know. I've been on like a weird like punk binge again. So, like I listened today, I pretty much just listened to like AFI's discography up until The Art of Drowning.
Oh, okay. So old
So,
AFI.
yeah, I've just been listening to stuff like that. I don't know. That's what I feel like I've been listening to all week is just like old punk that I used to listen to. So, I also found like some like pop punk bands that were kind of cool. They're like older ones that I should have known about, but I guess never did. Like, have you ever heard of Crucial Dudes?
Yes, but I didn't listen to them really,
Yeah.
but I have heard
So
of them.
they're tight. I never knew them, and I was just listening to it. It's like they remind me of like Such Gold.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like a little more hardcore influenced pop punk. I've listened to a lot of that over the break. Maybe it's just because my kids have been around and like
Sure.
we always just goof around to pop punk music when we're hanging out. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just been that, but um, not a lot of new music. The one that I'm looking forward to is there's this Texas band called Die Young, and they're
Yeah.
supposedly have new music this month. So I'm really excited for that. And then Thursday had another new song I think that came out
Oh,
yesterday.
really? I haven't heard it yet.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a lot more like the first song they released. So
I like the second one, right? I like White Bikes
yeah,
more.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
it's still
like the
good.
first one, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's about it.
I gotcha. Um, so I was telling you, I bought a car today, and it's a
Uh-huh.
2012. It has a CD player in it. I am so excited, and like, not only does it have a CD player, the Bluetooth is for phone only, so I can't actually stream from my phone because
Yeah.
it has an aux cord. My phone doesn't have an aux input,
Right.
so like I have to go back to CDs. I'm going to be listening to CDs a lot, and I'm actually really excited for it.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped. But
It's blast from the past, man, dude. That they do make like auxiliary to whatever USB-C converters. So you could get one of those for your phone and plug it in. Sorry to
or I
ruin your like CD
can, or
bubble,
I
but
can just use my CDs again
all
and
right.
listen to albums front to back
I
in the
wonder how
way they
long.
were meant to be listened to. So
All right, dude. Well, good luck, man.
get out of here
So,
with your playlist bullshit. Like,
okay.
we know
It's
how
not
you
even
run.
that. It's not even that. But good luck. Do you remember how dangerous it was, like changing CDs in the middle of while you're driving? Like,
Dude,
how long did you
listen,
get in an
so
accident? So,
my other car, it has like when you flip the blinker, the camera comes on. So I'm not even used to changing lanes with like actually looking anymore.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it
Good
was
luck, man.
weird driving home because I was like flipping the blinker. I'm like looking down at my thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I've got to like check before I move. So
Yeah. Good luck with that,
driving
dude.
these days. The younger generation will never know. Your son's talking about like hoping he has experience like that. I hope they can even drive when they're
Uh,
16, you know?
it's
It's
all gonna
just
be
wild.
self-driving cars or crap like that. So,
Or again, you hit your blinker and it just goes for you, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
when was the last time you checked over your shoulder to make sure no one was
dude.
in your blind spot?
If it wasn't not never. So,
Right.
and if it wasn't for the like cameras that my truck has, I wouldn't be able to park it like ever, dude.
For
Like
real,
I've had
dude.
the truck for over a year and I still can't park in the parking spots because like I suck at it. But if I didn't have cameras, I just wouldn't be able to do it at all. So
Just walk a mile to everywhere because you park
probably,
in the
yeah.
boonies.
No,
Yeah.
seriously. Like even with the cameras, I still suck at it. And I used to like give everyone crap for like backing into spaces, but with the truck, it's so much easier. So
Oh, dude, I love it. I
I
back into
never,
spaces a lot. So,
yeah,
but
you have to.
anyways,
So
so uh, Spotify does Wrapped, right? Which, by the way, I don't know. Did you actually look at your Wrapped? What did that look like?
a little bit, yeah. I think and I wasn't super surprised. My top three artists were Will to Live, Ambitions, and Hot Water Music.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
so it
Um,
actually sounds like spot on. Like I wasn't surprised by that at all. I was like, oh yeah, I listened to those three bands like pretty religiously. So
right. And also, you switched from Apple Music to Spotify this year, right? Like almost, was it midway through the year, kind of at the beginning of the year, or was that
I don't
last
know.
year? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, so Last FM, I'm connected to Last FM as well because that's how I can do the little grids or whatever about what like
Yeah.
weekly listens. But they also did a 2024 playback again this year, but they call them scrobbles, which
Okay.
apparently, if you're like a music head and you don't know what a scrobble is, like death to you kind of thing. I was reading on Reddit and they're like, you don't know what a scrobble is? I'm like, what the fuzz is a scrobble? Anyways, apparently a scrobble is like if you listen to like 50% of a song, it counts towards a count. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So it was pretty similar to my Spotify Wrapped, but there was actually some differences, and I actually was kind of interested. But 4 Year Strong was number one on both on
Yeah, I'm
this
not surprised
and
by that.
no, not at all. Especially with their new album that came out, and pretty much anytime I get in the car with my wife, I turn on 4 Year Strong because she likes
Yeah.
4 Year Strong. So it's a really easy go to. But the other one that popped up was I had Interpersonal, In Angles, and Sucker Punch were
Hmm.
super high up on all of them.
Yeah.
And listen, if anyone was questioning if we actually like listen to the bands we talk about, I listened to like 160 scrobbles or whatever the F it is of interpersonal and stuff before we talked about them. So
Yeah.
like 160 of their songs 160 times is what I was doing. So yeah, it was just
That's a lot,
interesting.
dude.
It was a
That's
lot.
actually quite a bit. There's
So
what,
I
10 songs on that album?
oh excuse me,
Three?
106, not 60.
Oh,
106. Let me
still though.
correct
That's
myself.
like it's playing the album 10 times through.
Listen, interpersonal. I was in the top 3% of your fans worldwide. Just throwing it out there. Like, no,
Yeah.
like it is interesting. It's kind of weird and stuff just to see how much you are listening to things. But yeah, I had interpersonal in angles. I have it right here. Sucker Punch. Will to Live was on mine. Johnny Baseball was on mine. I listened to Johnny Baseball a ton. Commodity was up there. Darasoon was up there. Like it's everyone we've talked about. I
Yeah.
listen to the albums over and over before we talk about them.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
No,
cool.
that's cool.
It was a little bit validating to be like, yeah, I actually am listening to the stuff that we're talking about.
Dude,
So
if there's like, look, this is gonna come off like super douchey. But if there's one thing that people can like understand about me and you is like we really do try to be genuine about all this stuff. Like we're not just TikTok bros trying to like be cool, you know.
like
Like we
Finn
do.
McKenty, did you see
I don't
that
know.
whole thing?
I don't know. I saw people talking about it and was like, I don't even know who Finn McKenty is. So
So he does that. He did the punk rock MBA or whatever. And he was like the social media guy where he would do like a video on a day to remember and stuff like that. He's like, I don't even like music. He's like, I just did it for the money.
yeah, yeah.
So no,
I mean,
we
we're
aren't
not
getting
like that.
paid.
We genuinely like this music. We listen to this music. We're fans of the people we talk about. And last but not least, we go to shows and we get rowdy. Like we try
And
to be involved. So,
we
you know,
have trash takes. I mean,
exactly.
if there's
That's
not
what
a
makes us
better
genuine
indicator,
though.
we have trash takes.
Yeah.
That's a great indicator. You can fight with us on pretty much anything that we say on here. Usually
Yeah.
Kyle a little bit more, but you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. So, did you see the Wrapped for the podcast though?
Yes.
We were like the top podcast for like 100 people. I
I,
just,
that
you
that
guys,
was that
you guys need help, man.
it's not right. Like If it is right, it's because you don't listen to podcasts and you happen to listen to one episode of like what we
Maybe,
did kind of thing. So
maybe. So like, thank you, thank you. But you know,
yeah.
there's there's better podcasts out there.
Listen, I'm having a ton of fun. And I guess we could start talking about it now. This year has been a ton of fun because we started doing guests in November of last year. Interpersonal was our first guest. We just had interpersonal back, kind of a full circle moment, right? From the first guest to being able to do like a track by track review of their latest album, The Long Bright Dark. It was fun. It was cool. And the fact that like they again, thank you to them for thinking that we are somewhat interesting enough to talk to about this kind of stuff and hopping on with us. Like, it's fun. And I've really enjoyed, in addition to like doing the interviews, consistently re-engaging with those people. And
Yeah,
like, I feel like we're friends with some of the bands that we've talked to and stuff like that. And I say that because like it's fun to have friends with common interests in different parts of the country.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We might just be online friends. We're still friends nonetheless. You know, it's dope. It's
yeah.
fun.
It is cool. And even just going to Furnace Fest, like we met all these people from around the country, and we were all there for the same bands. And one of the coolest things I think I learned this year, and it was reinforced at Furnace Fest, it's been reinforced with every band that we've talked to, is it's like, man, we all kind of have the same story.
Yeah.
Like, I know it sucks because we want to feel like we're unique and stuff, but we're not. Like, we all kind of have the same story. We all got into this music for kind of the same reasons. We're all still here for the same reasons too, you know? Like, obviously there's a few like outliers or whatever, people that suck, but you know, it's just like sitting down and talking to all these people. It's like, man, it's just so cool that like you are someone I've never met from a different part of the country that did live a different life, but like we all got into this for the same reason. We're kind of the same people, even though we're different, you know, and that's just a cool experience. And I don't know how many other hobbies or scenes or like things that people get into that you can kind of say that about, you know?
Well, and the thing about like hardcore compared to like other genres is you have to get into it. You know what I mean? Like you have to
Yeah.
make an effort to be part of it because like it's not played on the radio. Your parents typically are not playing it. I mean, maybe there's some younger generations now, which I will say the highlight of my year, and I am very sad that I actually wasn't there to see it, but Chris from Forever War had his son come up and play drums. Eight
Oh, that's
years
cool.
old,
Yeah.
at a show, kids hardcore dancing, hit kids moshing, and he's up there playing the drums to a song for Forever War. The coolest thing I've ever seen. Shout out to Chris. He's like a super stand-up dude. I love Chris. I love the guys in Forever War. But seeing that, I I was just smiling from ear to ear. It is
Yeah.
by far the
So cool.
highlight of my year, and I wasn't even there. And it makes
Yeah.
me sad that I wasn't there. So
That's
shout out
dope.
to those guys. But
Yeah.
like you said, it takes, or what I was saying is it takes effort to get into this. Country's on the radio, pop's on the radio, general rock's on the radio, rap is even on the radio. Hardcore is not on the radio. You put the time in, you put the effort in. And I think because of that, it is different. It is unique. And that's why the community is how it is.
Yeah.
And it makes it different. It makes it fun.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. So, um, yeah, it was really cool to see her personal, like talk to us the whole year. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get in trouble for saying any of this, but like we were able to hear a couple of their songs early.
Yeah.
Like, what an honor. You know, there's a couple bands that have done that with us, and like, what an honor that you guys would like trust you and me with that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even know these guys. Like, we've talked to them a few times, and like,
That's true. But also talking to us, it's probably pretty apparent we don't really know how we would leak them other than like super shit quality. So bands, you're pretty safe sending us crap. There's not much we can do with it other than listen to it and just be super stoked for you guys.
yeah. So,
But
a couple of the other things, like just looking through some of the episodes we've done, like we did that episode on the Offspring, and they
Yeah.
freaking liked our social media post about them. Like they're one of the largest bands like in this like alternative music ever, and they freaking liked a social media post. Like that was, I don't know, that was crazy. Like meeting some of the bands that I've been fans of for like a long time, like Mike from No Bragging Rights and Jay from With Honor and Ambitions, and getting into the scene down here in Dallas and meeting Rob. And we didn't talk about it, but I saw them finally a couple weeks ago, and like dude walked up and like gave him a hug, and we just sat there chatting. He introduced me to the rest of the band, and it's just like, man, it's so cool how cool people are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, talk about that show really quick because that was at Christmas. It was a toy drive for Christmas.
Yeah.
We've just had guests on, so we haven't really had a chance to like talk about it, but there was some sick bands there.
There was some cool bands. That's been another thing, just like a tangent, getting into this podcast and learning about just all the bands from around the country. There's so much good music there. And
Yeah.
like I know you have a pride from where you come from, and you should. That's awesome. Like we all need to build up our own scenes where we live at and support the local bands. But gosh dang, there's good music everywhere. And we do ourselves a disservice if we don't learn about them.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like coming to Dallas, it's like, man, there's so much good music here. So seeing this, it was a toy drive. It was 2 days. I didn't go to the first day because it was more like revival core, emo, violent type bands. And that's just not really me. So I went to the second day, brought my brother-in-law along. It's his first like real hardcore show. And dude, he was dying. He was laughing so hard. But yeah, just a bunch of bands from Texas, and some of them really freaking cool. Some of them were like, just young getting started hardcore bands, and like maybe they don't sound the best right now, but like they'll get there. Nobody was like bad, but you could tell like who the experienced bands were, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's cool. It's cool. Like you still need that. Like you still need these up and comer bands that are still getting their feet underneath them. But some of the bands, like, dude, Visions of Mortality, they're so freaking good, and they
Yeah.
sound so dang good live. Like it was so freaking heavy, and super nice guys, like super cool. He had his like 10-year-old son or 9-year-old son there
Sick.
too. And then Will to Live, dude, it was like there were a couple like other old heads that were there that were like, yeah, dude, like Will to Live's a staple here, and why we come out every time they're here. And I don't know, they were incredible. So
Yeah.
yeah. You brought up like one of the like newer bands from Dallas is called Six Shots in Dallas.
Yeah.
Old school deathcore sound. They were like incredible live. I'm not a fan of deathcore, like,
Yeah.
but I just sat in the back and I was like, man, this is weird. I feel like I'm 16, 17 again. Listen, like
Yeah.
huge breakdowns with insane bass drops, like high vocals to low pig squeals, like everything in between, blast beats, crazy breakdowns. And dude, so they finish their set and they act like they're all cleaning up. And like, I don't know, maybe a minute after, he turns and he's just like, F it. And they just play this other like insane breakdown. And like you saw people from the merch just like running back to mosh for like the last song. It was
30
hilarious.
seconds.
Yeah, like you really thought they were done, like they're like faking that they're like unplugging their stuff, and then the singer was just like F it, and they just dropped this insane breakdown, and it was wild. It was cool. Like I miss that part of this scene too, is a little bit of the theatrics.
Yeah.
So like they were funny. It was cool. It was cool. It was a great show. So it was great.
Yeah. No, I love that for sure. So, but yeah, I'm super pumped. I think that this year is going to be fun. I think that we've already been talking to a few more bands, and a few other people have been like, yeah, like hit us up and we'll get on and stuff. But we also need to get back to doing some of the nostalgia stuff. We got really into the local, really into the interviews and stuff like that. And I absolutely love that. But I threw out there like a month ago, I'm like, who were some like nostalgic bands that we should talk about? And we had a few responses, But let me just ask you, what bands have we not touched on that are like kind of high on your list
Yeah.
of what you want to talk about?
So I think there's a bunch of bands that I listened to when I was like maybe 13, 14 that were super influential. I think some of the bands I've had the most fun talking about have not been like heavier bands that I got into later, but some of the ones that got me into heavy music, like Funeral for a Friend,
Right.
is one that I absolutely want to talk about. I'm trying to think of some others. I swear I just had a list, but um, some of these like post-hardcore bands similar to like Alexis on Fire and Boy Sets Fire, right? That were bands that like got me, and I know we already talked about them, but like bands that got me into this music a little earlier before I got into like really like Finch is another one.
Yeah.
Like
I
some of
actually
these
saw
maybe,
Finch a couple times,
yeah, like
like
maybe
on
some of these
lists.
not so heavy bands, but that were like hugely influential to
Yeah.
my like musical growth. Lower Definition might be another one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Um, yeah. So I mean, there's so many of them, and I think we've done a pretty good job with them. But like, I know that we've spent a lot of time talking about like bands like Haste Today, and I'm sure we'll get around to like August Burns Red or stuff like that. But I want more of these like post-hardcore, almost like emo type bands that like were really influential for us when we were in like middle school.
Yeah.
Those are some that I want to touch on. Like Finch and Funeral for a Friend are perfect examples. So
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I think that there's a lot of those bands. I also want to talk about some of the bands that broke us into heavy. You know what I mean? So I've seen a lot, like several people said, like the Acacia Strain, It Dies Today. I know that like we don't love Amir anymore, but I wouldn't mind talking about Amir and stuff like that just because the stuff is just like fun and silly and
yeah,
stuff. And then there's just like wild and crazy bands who I'm like, do we talk about them? Or is it just one of those things where it's just too far gone? Like Kill Whitney Dead or
and
like
I
I
mean,
Wrestle the Bear Once and stuff like
well,
that.
I mean, I Wrestle a Bear once is looking at doing a reunion with their original vocalist.
Yeah, yeah. So like
Um,
I Wrestle the
I'm
Bear Once, another one, A Plea for Purging. Like again, we mentioned being out at Furnace Fest. Andy was out there doing his
food
burger
truck. Yeah,
truck. Yeah. And I went up, I'm like, so are we getting a secret plea set? He's like, no, but I might go up on stage with another band and just start screaming plea lyrics over their songs. It's
yeah.
like, do it, dude. Like,
A lot of people requested Attack Attack.
dude, I love Attack
We
Attack
might.
though.
I
Like,
don't like
we
Attack
might
Attack.
have to.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of those bands that were like Emerosa, I think would be like kind of interesting one
Yeah.
with like the different vocalists and stuff. Dance Gavin Dance, and we'll have to make sure to include Josh on that one. Like there's a lot of these like not so heavy bands that I think were pretty like pretty important to you and I to getting into like the actual heavy ones. Another one is we need to redo the Thrice episode
Yeah.
because that is unreleased and will never be released. So
Yep. For anyone wondering what we're talking about, the first episode we ever tried to record was on Thrice. And
it didn't work.
oh, it worked. It just was not good.
Well, what you're saying didn't work, and I'm pretty sure Trevor pulled his wiener. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's why this episode's flagged. So,
Yeah,
oh man, but no, it's been a fun year. I do
Where
want to
You're
get back.
Strong is one. Like we haven't
Uh
done. There's a ton of bands I think we can do, but yeah, I just like I have very fond memories of some of these bands that I
yeah,
listened to when I'm like a kid,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think we need to. I think we need to do it. So that
I'm
being
totally
said,
down.
if anyone has recommendations, or if you're like an up and coming band too, because we're gonna keep doing the local episodes, like hit us up. You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
It's been fun. Like people have been tagging us or commenting and like sending us stuff, and we've been able to like listen to a bunch. But a lot of it's coming off of like we talked about Soul Exchange. And it's like, we'll go talk to Virtue. And so it's like keep passing it along kind of thing. And I also love that because it's yeah, it's fun to talk about one band in the scene. I want to know 5 of the bands in the scene.
Yeah.
Like South Carolina, there's Strikeface, there's Intimidator. We talked about Heavy as the Head. I know they're Richmond, Virginia,
Reviler.
but they've been going down to South Carolina too. You know what I mean? Like they're all connected.
Reviler.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
forget about
Reviler.
that's like a top band from last year, dude. Holy cow.
Oh yeah, dude. That album or EP or whatever it
Yeah.
was, so freaking good.
EP album.
EP album. Uh And like from those, it like springs other stuff. Like we talked about Delta Hate. Like I love their stuff. Like their last EP was incredible as well. And we got to see those guys at Furnace Fest. So it's just like all of that stuff. It all comes together. It's all coinciding. It's all partnering up. The other thing that I want to do though is I want to talk to some people who are in the scene but not necessarily musicians. So we like locally, we've got a producer here. His name's Nick Karchner. He produces like the majority of hardcore going on right now. I want to get Nick on the pod. I want to talk to him about production. He's also in like 12 of the bands in Salt Lake. Like if you are a hardcore band in Salt Lake, he either produced you or he's playing with you. One of the two, if not both of them. I want to talk to like promoters. I want to talk to like photographers. I want to just like anyone who's affiliated and doing something interesting in the scene. Music's cool and stuff, but why do you want to take pictures of people punching each other?
Right.
You
And
know?
why is that important to the culture? You know?
Exactly. Like we
The
talked
picture
to
taking, the punching is always important, but like why document it, you know?
exactly. But like that's why I asked Gabe Ochoa when we had him on from Darasum, like, why is archiving this stuff important? You know? And it's just like there's things that are important to the scene and it does set us apart. It makes us unique. It makes us a community, a culture,
Yeah.
everything like that instead of just a music genre. You know what I mean? So again, if you're a photographer, if you're any of this stuff, also hit us up.
Yeah.
Super interested in talking with you guys. And I bet we could get Cricket on from the homie media Cricket or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he was super dope. We met him out in Furnace Fest too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
It
good
was
one,
a ton
dude.
of fun.
Yeah. It's cool, dude.
So that's the kind of stuff. Like I'm excited for 2025.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of this stuff is going to be fun.
I do too. I hope that people have enjoyed it. I hope that you guys know, again, I know this sounds sappy, but like we're trying to be genuine about all this. Like this is a scene that's given us so much and we want to give back. So if there's a way that we can help, get a band out there or a vendor or a promoter or whatever, you know, let us help. We want to be involved, you know?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, well,
2024 sucked. 2025 is going to be better. So tune in to what we've got coming in 2025 because I think it's going to be good. The honest truth is we literally have like nothing planned. Like we talk about all the stuff we want to do, but like, yeah, we have nothing like actually planned. You know, we have a couple bands that we're going to talk to, but like, you know, we're going to do it by the, what does they say? We're going to fly by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, the last 3 months, like we were stacked. Like we had stuff booked and stuff. We finally got through it. You know, we still have a couple lingering. And if you're lingering, like we'll get to you, but it's time to start building back up. You might get a couple incoherent episodes from myself, from lack of sleep, from nude baby kind of thing, which this one may have been a little incoherent since my 3-year-old kept me up all night last night. So, you know, dude, there's that stuff, but
we're coming off the holidays. Like, I mean, we don't drink, but I have like food hangovers, I guess. You know? Everyone else listening is probably either still kicking over like from a hangover or food comas. So
maybe,
you know,
we got that straight edge crowd. So,
you know, we had Contention on, you know, and Reviler. So
who is not a straight edge band, by the way.
That's true. Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Which I gave him crap about that because I had on my Spotify Wrapped, it was like something straight edge, like as like my music genre. And then it was like the bands who were listed. It was like Reviler was number one.
Yeah.
So I screenshot it. I sent it to him. I'm like, is it time for you guys just to come out and say it? Like,
I was like, what was mine? It was like Western Outlaw Straight
Western
Edge or something like that.
something. Yeah.
It's like
Anyways.
you listen to Spirit World one time, and it's like now you're like some outlaw cowboy straight edge. So
Well, for real, right? So,
they have a new song that rips, but
which I haven't listened to that one yet. I'm going to listen to that right after we wrap this up. So, well,
yeah,
dope. I'm excited. We'll have a next new episode out next week. Probably a nostalgia band, just given the time, or it will be locals. So
yeah,
we'll see how the year kicks off.
yep,
Dope.
yippers. So
Well, peace.
okay, thanks, man. See you.